guys, what's up? Mike Murtis here with a semi-episode of Gamer Logic, if you will. As you can see, I'm actually outside today. Here in Illinois, the weather is starting to heat up a little bit. The snow is starting to melt, and things are starting to get a lot better, which is really awesome. So, one, I picked up some new games, and I thought I'd share them with you. And number two, I've never taken this camera outside to see how well it covers daylight. I've done night and it doesn't do too bad, but I kind of want to see how well the HD picks up in normal light situations, so we'll see. But let's talk about some of the games we picked up. Got a couple of Game Boy games. Moe's Games, of course, down in Volo, is at 50% off on their games, and they have a lot of good selection as far as the original Game Boy goes, and even Game Boy Color. And I picked up Final Fantasy Legend 3, which I don't know if this follows the Secret of Mana series or not. I know one of the Final Fantasy Legend games did, and I want to say that that was actually the first Final Fantasy Legend, so I'm not really sure what this follows up with. What's interesting about this Final Fantasy card, and maybe hard to see, is that this was published by Sunsoft, which, as we know, Squaresoft is the actual publisher of the Final Fantasy games, so it's interesting that it's Sunsoft. Next up is a fighting game that was a big favorite of mine and my little brother's back in the SNES days, in the arcade days, and that is Killer Instinct. And this actually supports the Super Game Boy, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how bad the port of this is. I haven't really heard anything about it, but I'm just curious to see how a portable version of this would stand up. Next up, Bob gave this to me as a freebie, and it's pretty interesting. It's a Japanese product, and it is a Japan System Supply game for Game Boy, and it is a 55, which is it's an import. It's 55 games in one, which automatically I assume would be a bootleg, but I'm not really sure. And it was for sale in Japan only, and commercial rental was prohibited, which is actually normal for any Japanese stuff. This came out in 1996 by Japan System Supply. And the website here is titan.co.jp, so I'll have to check that out. That's kind of interesting. But it's supposed to be 55 games in one, super puzzle action, which doesn't make much sense to me. So I'm not sure if it's just a bootleg of around a whole bunch of stuff, or if it's something completely different. Maybe it is just this one puzzle game with 55 different things. I'm not sure. Next up, got some TurboGrafx 16 games. I've been kind of collecting more of those, and I'm hoping to pick up a decent amount of them at the Midwest Gaming Classic. We got World Tennis Court, which you people are probably wondering why the heck I picked up a tennis game. I've actually heard that this is pretty awesome for the TurboGrafx 16, so I wanted to make sure I picked it up. On the TurboGrafx 16 CD edition, Valis 2. Valis 2, I think I played a burn copy that I got off a ISO site, and it was pretty decent. I kind of like the Valis series. I have Super Valis 4 for Super Nintendo, which is pretty decent, but kind of one of those weird anime-ish games. Next up is Final Zone 2, and I'm not sure if this is right, but I believe that this is the game that Happy Console Gamer said had possibly the worst voice acting he's ever heard in a video game, or at least in the TurboGrafx 16, so that'll be interesting. Not really sure what it is, if it's a side-scroller or what it actually is, but I'm kind of interested in it. I have to go over a couple more TurboGrafx 16 games I picked up through the mail and through some other venues as well. They have got some good ones lately. And lastly, the original siphon filter for PS1. I have 2 and I have 3, and I got this. This was actually a pretty decent price, and the copy is in pristine condition. And I just wanted to complete my siphon filter trilogy, so got that done. But that's pretty much it, guys. Just want to show off some games and test this thing outside, see how it does. And apart from that, the Midwest Gaming Classic is in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to covering that for you guys, as well as a couple of different sites that have hired me to do some work for them as far as covering the event. And next week, this Tuesday, is Final Fantasy 13 as well as Yakuza 3 for the PS3. Definitely pick them up if you're RPG fans, because they're great games. So, that's it. Mike Murtis signing out. hopefully this didn't turn out too bright, and we'll go from there. Later.